Welcome to the top 24 stories of 24 from Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidID, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming service news show with over 10 million views on the only daily live queer news show in the world.
This is the most popular and subscribed to LGBTQ brand in Florida and one of the top in the world.
It is Monday, December 30th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell on Queer News Tonight.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBT community.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat, and I'm joined tonight by anchors Buddy Fry, Jeff Oliverio, Mark Pettitt, and Larry Farver. This is a special broadcast of Queer News Tonight.
2024 has been named one of the most dramatic for the LGBTQ community in history. So many stories Queer News Tonight has brought you in 2024.
Combined, Hotspots Happening Out has brought you more than 2,500 stories about and for the LGBTQ community. We don't know what 2025 will bring.
There is fear over the transfer of power on January 20th. So we thought we would finish our year by looking back. Of those 2,500 stories, let's look at the top 24 stories of 24.
This curated list is drawn from Queer News Tonight, The FayWhat Show, Queer God Squad, and Hotspots Magazine. This was what was important to us in all the 24 of 24.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story of 2024. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 12 of 24. HBO's We're Here and Sasha Velour takes on Bible Belt hate. This story was broadcast on May 23rd on Queer God Squad. It was when Tennessee's governor had signed a bill restricting drag shows, but the queens of We're Here countered the hatred with resilience, showcasing drag's transformative power. Take a look.
HBOs We're Here and Sasha Velour take on Bible Belt hate. In March 2023, Tennessee's governor signed a pioneering bill restricting drag shows, part of a wave of anti-LGBTQ+ legislation across the country. Though a federal judge ruled the law unconstitutional a few months later, it ignited widespread anti-drag sentiment, impacting small towns like Murfreesboro. Just weeks later, HBO's We're Here brought its fourth season to Murfreesboro, showcasing the queer community and the healing power of drag. The new hosts, Sasha Velour, Priyanka, and Jada Essence Hall, with Latrice Royale joining for the final episodes, arrived in full regalia to coach local queer people and allies for a drag showcase. This season also spans Oklahoma, another major battleground for LGBTQ+ rights. Unlike previous seasons, the queens spend weeks getting to know the small communities their drag daughters call home, staging a series of smaller drag shows regardless of local opposition. In Tennessee, Velour mentors Norm, a longtime LGBTQ+ advocate and part-time performer from Murfreesboro, who feels responsible for the town's pride cancellation. In Oklahoma, Velour helps Jess, a recently out transgender woman. Through deep conversations and heartfelt performances, the queens and their protégés deliver powerful messages of resilience, hope, and support, standing proudly together at the end of each show.
Oh, I love Anne Atwell. Let me just start there, okay? I love Queer God Squad. I love Robert and Darrell. They're just incredible there at Sunshine Cathedral, and they just give me life. It's interesting to see this story again after like almost a year of this, you know? One, I was a huge fan of the new We're Here. I am a huge Latrice Royale fan, and I was just so happy to see her in this new role because she's so passionate and she really does like she wears her heart on her sleeve, you know? And so unlike other seasons of We're Here, they were spending a lot more time in the same cities. Right? In the past, they were in a city for 2 weeks and that was that. Now they were staying for like 3 or 4 episodes at one spot and they were going to hot places like Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, Tennessee, you know, and these girls had to battle some instant hatred. Like they got death threats, they had, you know, pride cancellations. And, you know, my thoughts were to the queer people in these cities because we're everywhere. We're like roaches, right? We're everywhere. And, you know, these poor people were just taken and restricted of their just right to be gay, you know? And then the queens would come in and be like, okay, no, we're still going to have an event here. We're still going to do something. Queer folks, we're going to represent you. But they, you know, got a lot of backlash in the process. And Velour was like a big target over in Tennessee.
Yeah, the show it really changed dramatically with the political climate. The first few seasons, it used to be all about like, hey, if we can make you more confident, which you can with a good makeover, we're gay, we know how to do that. Or if you need, you know, a few of your homophobic family members turned around, yeah,
we can do that.
We got that covered too. That's just some really good, honest conversations. But it really quickly became kind of that person almost versus an entire community. And the Queen stepped up, production stepped up. They updated the format to really address what was actually happening in the world. I'll watch this show as long as it's coming out.
But it's important because the lesson learned is that we need to support ourselves regardless of where we are. We need to backfill our youth. You know, we need to teach people confidence. We need to teach them speaking skills and how do we talk about gay marriage. You know, it's not a religious thing, it's a financial thing, it's a loving thing. So it shows that we need to do a better job at these small communities because the large communities, we know how to talk it up. We got the allies and when we got the success, we need to weed that down into small town America.
Good point.
You know, something that I was thinking about, boys, and I'm going to ask you about this. Like Mark, I'm a huge We're Here fan, and I've been watching for the last couple of years. So they changed the format. They make it more political. They make it more sad. They make it more real.
It's not queer drag.
Yes, then We're Here gets canceled.
Yes.
Okay. Do we think that it got canceled because we're just not ready or the world is not ready to see drag queens and real shit that we just want to see sing, dance for us, lip sync, look pretty?
I mean, I think the reality is that streaming is having a moment where they're struggling. So anything that's not a huge revenue generator is getting cut. And unfortunately, that's going to fall by the wayside of things that don't have mass appeal. And Warner Brothers Discovery, whose HBO Max is, you know, is struggling the most. So I think it's unfortunate. But I do think the fact that we had it is great. And I think there's other places out there. But I think the message of it is that we need to find places where we can, as you're saying, you know, can we go and volunteer and go to Tennessee? Like, you know, my cousin lives in Tennessee, and during that drag ban, they were doing drag shows on party buses because they couldn't perform in the band. And so they would get those party buses like we get, you know, and they would have drag shows in them. So people would go and buy tickets to go on the party bus because that was a legal place that they could do drag until that ban was removed. So, but I always say our community is very creative.
Yes,
I was gonna say that
we are. We're resilient. We're creative. We're going to figure out a way. Like we
Yes.
even made it like speakeasy kind of. Like, yeah, get on our party bus. Don't be drag. You know what I mean? You know, like for me, like drag is like the cornerstone of our community. Like, you know, we don't have events without drag because that is what makes us smile. That is what makes us us. You know, so
we're making fun of ourselves.
Those drag bands were scary AF, buddy. Okay, when we had a couple prides that we didn't have drag queens at, I'm like, are we really folding over right now? You know, like people were scared.
Yeah, and I think we can't forget how much drag queens have really supported just gay rights in general. Yeah, the whole reason that there were so many drag queens is there were a lot of places where you had to be with a woman. If the cops came in, you know, they had to see a pairing like that, and they really backed us up, I think, when nobody else did.
Yeah. Well, if you go back to Stonewall in 1969, you know, that's where it all began, and a lot of transgender.
Marsha P.
and-
Johnson, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sylvia Rivero,
Exactly.
yes.
Absolutely. And we have a wonderful asset with the Stonewall Museum here in Fort Lauderdale, and I understand that that's expanding. So kudos to them.
Yay, Robert.
And
Yes.
Jeff, to point out your situation with talking about Warner Brothers, that's not money making. That's why we're here.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
that's
Fill
why
in the
we're
gaps.
that's what we're
Yes.
making this space for, so that we can have all those opportunities.
Tell those
Well,
stories.
and I think one of the things we can do maybe on a grassroots level, and I came down from the New Jersey, New York area thinking, oh, we fought our fight in the late 80s and 90s, early
We're
2000s.
still
We're done, right?
Yeah, I did. I honestly did, because I marched on Washington with friends and family, and did the parades in New York. And you look now and say we have to do it again. Years ago, and I never thought I'd have to do this. I think one of the things may help to bridge the gap between the entertainers and the drag community and other parts of the community would be maybe to look at having speakers bureaus. What we did in New Jersey is I belong to New Jersey Speakers Bureau. We had a wonderful leader, Chris Salito, and we went out to colleges. And I thought we had really turned the tide when I went to my alma mater, William Patterson, which is a state university. I'm sitting there on a panel of gay people, and they really wanted to talk more to the transgender representative. I believe her name was Susan, who had a family, was planning children, worked for the state of New Jersey. That was more interesting. And there was a lot of respect in the room, but they're like, oh, we've heard from you gay people. We want to know the trans story. So that, I really thought the tide, and I hope we get back there again.
Yeah, because we need to.
Absolutely.
We definitely do. We are bringing you a special presentation of the 24 biggest stories of the year. We call it the Top 24 of 24. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story of 2024. I'm Mark Pettitt, and let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 11 of 24. Lady Bunny says RuPaul is destroying the planet. This story was broadcast on March 28th on the FayWhat show. Remember when RuPaul shared his Civil War fears and the plans for a fortified Wyoming ranch? Well, it not only sparked a conversation across the queer community, but also attracted backlash from Lady Bunny for his fracking hypocrisy. So did RuPaul really build a bunker? Let's find out.
Before the release of RuPaul's memoir, The House of Hidden Meaning, this month the legendary drag icon opened up about his concerns regarding the world's trajectory in a candid chat with journalist Ronan Farrow. Expressing fear of an impending civil war, Ru revealed plans for a fortified compound on his Wyoming ranch with husband Georges Labar. However, not everyone was sipping the tea quietly. Lady Bunny, Ru's longtime friend, slammed him for his involvement in fracking while preaching about climate change. Bunny's social media post on RuPaul's hypocrisy is gaining huge traction on Instagram. Lady Bunny says RuPaul is destroying the planet.
Goodness, it just kind of seems like she is looking for any reason to come after RuPaul that she possibly could. I remember, as a younger queer, always really looking up to her. As she was such an icon. You would just see her and absolutely light up. And these days, I think if Lady Bunny has a problem with you, that you're probably doing something right. She should literally update her drag name to Lady I Roll Bunny. That's all she gets from me.
Because I remember meeting her at a Pride Festival in New York with my husband Daniel, and totally different picture. So you wonder what soured her grapes.
Right? Like maybe Lady Bunny needs more sex, So I hosted an event for Pride Lines. I hosted their gala, and Lady Bunny was given an award. And, I had kindly told Pride Lines, I understand why you're giving her an award for what she's done in the past, but I can't be a part of that, right? I refuse to introduce her or anything like that. And they were super understanding. They understood where I was sitting on that seat, But, then she got on stage and then talked shit about Tiffany Fantasia and called her an alcoholic and just totally went off topic and defamed this incredible treasure that is Tiffany Fantasia. And that even made me not like her even more. And like you said, Lady Bunny was an entity. Like she was someone that when she was somewhere, the LGBTQ plus community would frack there.
Yes.
See what you did.
You know what I mean? Would flock there to support her. And it just seems like, something happened.
Yeah,
You know?
it would be great to get the untold story. I mean, I remember going to peer dances in New York City too, and she led the way, and she was an MC. What happened?
Well, maybe
She was the founder of Wigstock,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
yeah.
Thank you.
maybe she's feeling left behind, and maybe she's going through menopause. Who knows?
I mean, she's talking about destroying the environment. I'm pretty sure that hairspray probably did a good job a long time ago. So
She's destroying it. She's destroying the gay environment.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I think she's got like a new book that just came out too. I'm like, it's called Forever Twilight. I don't know if anybody's gonna read it.
Maybe
but
we'll see it in the dollar store.
maybe we will.
We are bringing you a special presentation of the 24 biggest stories of the year. We call it the Top 24 of 24. There is no other queer, nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing and Queer News Tonight. Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story of 2024. I'm Jeff Oliverio, and let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 10 of 24. Tom Daley and Team Great Britain divers close Paris Olympics with tiny Speedos dance. This story was broadcast on August 14th on Queer News Tonight. The Paris Olympics 2024 was a great event for the queer community, and the cherry on top was when Olympic diver Tom Daley and Team Great Britain went viral dancing in Speedos to Charlie XCX's Apple. Let's take another look.
Tom Daley and Team Great Britain divers close Paris Olympics with tiny Speedos dance. Olympic silver medal holder gay diver Tom Daley and the Team Great Britain divers have gone viral after dancing to Charlie XCX's Apple in minimal Speedos. The video, posted by Daley on Instagram and captioned Brat Summer Olympics, features Olympic athletes Jack Lauer, Noah Williams, Kyle Kothari, Anthony Harding, and Jordan Holden dancing in tiny Speedos. Queer fans are praising the video for its impressive moves and sexiness. Daley announced his retirement from diving after the video.
Well, I was fortunate to cover that story, so I'm happy to cover it again. And it brings back lots of good memories. The Olympics were, I think, the queerest Olympics we've ever had. Paris really rolled out the rainbow carpet for the LGBTQ community. There was a drag show-ish, on the opening ceremonies.
Ooh, yes.
With all, with the full, voguing and everything. I mean, it was everything Paris is meant to be, which is, there's a reason they call it Gay Paris.
Ooh, I love that. Was that the one where they had there was all that shade because of the Last Supper and all that, and people were losing their minds, and then that beautiful drag queen was the one who lit the fire also. It was very queer.
Very queer.
You're absolutely right.
The most queer.
And honestly, I'm not into sports. I'm not that lesbian. We've all talked about this, right? But the Olympics, I was all about it because we had so much representation. We had power lifters, we had swimmers, we had this, we had that. But Tom Daley was just so freaking cute. Right? And he brought something that was my abuela's thing to do, my grandma's thing to do. He brought it into light and made it cool. Knitting.
Yeah.
He knitted all these wonderful things that I thought were penis covers, but they were not. They were actually covers for other things, right? But him and his boo, Dustin Lance Black, who's a screenwriter and director, are the cutest couple in life, and they made it just very normal to be a gay couple. It is normal to be a gay couple, but they just made it so normal to see, for everyone to see,
They made it comfortable.
They made it comfortable.
Yes.
Not normal. They made it comfortable. We've been everywhere. It's time that we just go, yeah, they're cute, and just walk away, I mean, come on.
Yeah. So we are bringing you a special presentation of the 24 biggest stories of the year. We call it Top 24 of 24. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. We are looking back at the top LGBTQ news stories of the year from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community, and we want to tell the stories of our queer community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Buddy Fry, Jeff Oliverio, Mark Pettitt, and Larry Farver, let us be the first to tell you Happy New Year! Okay?
Happy New Year.
Spend it with your family. Spend it alone. Spend it however it is. But make those resolutions for the new year. Volunteer. Help nonprofits. Extend a hand to a neighbor that might not have friends or family during this holiday season. Do something good for others, and trust me, it'll come back to you 15 times fold. So we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you love, generosity, bravery, while being transformative and queer. Good night.
Good night.